In this video, we're going to be speaking about Miss Mahogany Pink and what it sounds like to advocate for a demographic to be genocided. We're going to be speaking about what it sounds like to advocate for genocide, eugenics, and what it sounds like in the 21st century to sleepwalk your subscribers and followers into Auschwitz. So I want y'all to take this ride with me. I'll be playing a clip from Miss Mahogany Pink, and then we'll be reviewing it on the back end. All right, I'll pause right there. See y'all on the other side.
It seems as though the community believes that the missing key to ending the dysfunction is Black women being held accountable. So, be accountable. If the complaint is that Black women are having children with absentee fathers and all of these fathers are Black men, stop having children with Black men. If the complaint is that Black women are raising these boys to be thugs and criminals, don't raise boys. Reconsider having them. If the complaint is that the girls have a bad attitude, don't raise them in a rough neighborhood. You need to move. If the complaint is that these girls are supposed to be looking for a husband to take care of them in college instead of putting off motherhood for a career in a hot girl summer, don't send them to an HBCU where they're going to outnumber the men almost 3-1 and their chances of finding a quality relationship tanks. If men are not responsible for getting swept up in the prison industrial complex, but you are responsible if supporting these men ruins your lives and you'll be thrown to the accountability wolves, then don't support Black men in prison. Don't entertain Black men who have a criminal record for any reason under any circumstances. In fact, do not uphold any code about no snitching. Clean up the trash in your neighborhoods. The prisons might be filled with Black men, but the crime rate is at a record high, so maybe not enough of them have been put away. Don't entertain or marry men who can't afford to pay for a wife and children to live in a safe neighborhood. And if you can't find one, then don't have children. No work with a brother, no hold a brother down, no help a brother out, no nothing. Accountability is the total removal of your presence and your support, because if you truly are the cause of all of this community's problems, then your departure will only make it better. Because if there's one thing that I want you all to take away from this channel, it's that if someone doesn't appreciate what you do for them, the last thing you should be thinking about is how you can do more of it. And in a nation with ever-increasing income inequality, women of all races are lowering their standards to meet the men who can't afford them. But when they go low, Black women, you need to go high, because you can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes, lest you be blamed for the consequences. And the
We are officially in Auschwitz. This is not "he wasn't man enough for me" level of misandry. This is not "can you pay my bills" level of misandry. This is not "no scrubs" level of misandry. This is not "just be a man about it" level of misandry. This is not "color purple" level of misandry. This is not "waiting to excel" level of misandry. This is full-on Auschwitz level of misandry. Miss Mahogany Pink used soft words. She uses 3- and 4-syllable words. She's very articulate. The production is good, but she is a full-on Nazi now. She is sleepwalking her subscribers and followers into advocating that Black men not be born. Black men shouldn't be born if Black women have to take any accountability. Said differently, if Black women have to be held accountable for anything in the Black community, then Black men should not exist. If Black men cannot take blame for everything wrong in the Black community, then Black men should not exist. If Black men exist, they should be warehoused in prisons. If we cannot warehouse enough of them in prisons, then we should isolate ourselves away from them. Miss Mahogany Pink is essentially saying that if Black men cannot build Wakanda only 50 or some odd years out of Jim Crow and 70 or some odd years out of colonialization, then Black men should not exist. Miss Mahogany Pink completely ignores the fact that only 4% of all marriageable age Black women are married outside of the Black race. 3% are married to white men. 1%, count it, 1% married to non-black, non-white men. Miss Mahogany Pink completely ignores the fact that that is racism. That is because of racism. That is because of white supremacy. That is because of colorism. Miss Mahogany Pink tells her followers and subscribers, because of the wealth classification at the top, because of the increasingly growing gap of wealth in America, that black women should aim high as other women lower their standards. Aim high, as in the top 20% of non-black men aim high? You mean the non-black men that are the least likely to marry black women? You mean the non-black men that are half the reason why America is in the position it is in now? Why the wealth hoarding is going on in the top? You mean those men? You're essentially telling your followers and subscribers to street fight for the top 20% non-black man, primarily white man. To be what? Side chick number 7? Wife number 5? Let's keep going. Even as half of Americans earn $67,000 a year household income, we round that up to 70. That's 2 people making $35,000 a year. Even though half of all American men earn $38,000 a year or less, Miss Mahogany Pink says, if your man, she's speaking about black men, cannot move you out of the hood, then you shouldn't be with him. Meanwhile, half of American men, once again, earn $38,000 a year or less. Half of American women earn $25,000 a year or less. Miss Mahogany Pink tells you that if black men will not take all the blame in the black community, or as she calls it, Blackistan, then you as a black woman need to move. Once again, half of American women earn $25,000 a year or less. Miss Mahogany Pink, they're not moving because they literally cannot afford to move. That is the world we're living in, where Miss Mahogany Pink is speaking about college enrollment and saying, do not send your daughters to HBCUs because the enrollment is 1 to 3, right? 1 man for every 3 women. Well, Miss Mahogany Pink, at the PWIs within the next decade is going to be 2 to 1. 2 women for every 1 man. And if you count racism and anti-blackness, for black women, it might as well be 1 man for every 7, 8, 9, 10 women. Miss Mahogany Pink is a whole genocidal maniac now. She's gone full on Hitler. We are now in Auschwitz. Only 8% of Americans are millionaires, everyone. That's hard assets. That's not liquid. That's not if you check their bank account, you'll see a cool $1 million in there. Miss Mahogany Pink is either delusional, insane, or both. She speaks articulately and yet advocates for genocide and for eugenics of black boys, of black men. The reason why I put the definitions of genocide and eugenics here is for everyone to understand what they're listening to when they listen to Miss Mahogany Pink. To think that a black person can be so incensed, so rageful, so resentful, so angry with other black people that they advocate for those black people to be imprisoned. They advocate for those black people to not have ever been born. They advocate for the women of that group to isolate themselves from the men. And yet they couch it as, because these people will not take blame and say that we should take accountability, maybe they should not exist. No point in being accountable to people that don't exist. Miss Mahogany Pink calls the black community Blackistan. as many of these swirlers and divestors have. Meanwhile, they're advocating for the black community to be Auschwitz when it comes to black men. They're advocating for the black community to be Rikers Island when it comes to black men. We are no longer in your mom saying the occasional misandrous thing about black men. We are no longer in a hurt, bitter black woman saying F black men. We are no longer in just the occasional black woman calling black men dusty or ashy. No, we are in full-on Auschwitz, where because of social media creating echo chambers, we've gotten so extreme now that these particular swirlers and divestors are saying, if you can't take all the blame for everything wrong, if you can't build Wakanda, if you can't make me a top 20%, let's be honest, a top 1% uber wealthy white woman, then why are you even exist? Why do you even exist? Why do you breathe? Why are you free? This is what happens with hyper-individualism, with late-stage capitalism, when human beings start viewing other human beings as commodities, tools, products. Miss Mahogany Pink is a full-on Hitler. If black women have to be accountable, if black men will not take all the blame for everything wrong in the black community, then black men should not exist. If they exist, they should be housed in prisons. If we cannot house enough of them in prisons, then we should isolate. We as black women should isolate ourselves from them. As other non-black women, white women and other women of color, lower their standards because of the economic situation men find themselves in, men writ large, not just black men. As these non-black women come to the realization of what late-stage capitalism is doing to manhood and to income in America, we as black women should aim high for the same men that have caused the problem. We should aim high for the same men that are the least likely to marry black women. And if we can't get those men, then we shouldn't have children, period. Miss Mahogany Pink, I want y'all to be very understanding. Understand, Miss Mahogany Pink on the surface is advocating for genocide and eugenics of black men and black boys. Unborn black fetus, right? Male black fetuses. But if you dig deeper, it's bigger than that. She's advocating for genocide of all black people. For all of you black women that didn't get it, if you watched her video, she's advocating for genocide of all black people. If black men will not take the blame for everything, then there should not be a black community. Burn it to the ground. As she advocates for the black community to be Auschwitz for black men, she mocks and insults the black community by calling it Blackistan. It makes one wonder if Miss Mahogany Pink is truly a black woman, a hurt, bitter, angry black woman, or if she's a white troll with a voice recorder pretending to be a black woman. This level of misandry, black misandry, this level of advocating for genocide, this level for advocating for eugenics, even for those of us in this space, it's difficult to believe that this is truly a black woman. Miss Mahogany Pink and her subscribers and followers are jealous of upper middle class white women. And in their mind, if black men can't make them Karen, if black men cannot make them Becky, if black men cannot make them Miss Ann, if black men cannot put them in the position to call the cops, to have other people murdered off a sheer inconvenience, then black men should not be born. Black men should not exist. And two, even black women shouldn't exist. And I'll pause right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Only 4% of all marriageable age black women are married outside of the race. And Miss Mahogany Pink will have you believe that that's sheerly, purely, only because black women are simply too loyal to black men. Black women want to be accountable for their part instead of blaming black men for everything. And then that's why only 4% of black women are married outside of the race. Not because of white supremacy, not because of colorism from other non-black men, not because of all the negative stereotypes non-black men believe about black women, not because non-black men are simply just not interested in black women. No, it's because black women are too loyal. Too many black women are too loyal to black men in, air quotes, Blackistan. 1% of non-black, non-white men. Black women have 1%. Or better yet, 1% of black women are married to non-black, non-white men. 1. That means when you see a black woman with a ring on her finger and she's with an Asian man, she represents only 1%. When she's with an Arab man, she only represents 1%. When she was with a Persian or Indian man, she represents 1% of all black women, all marriageable age black women. And Miss Mahogany Pink thinks that's sheerly because of loyalty to black men. I'll truly pause right here. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Y'all be careful. We're fully in Auschwitz now. Genocidal maniacs are amongst us. They may not couch it like that. They may not use supremely aggressive words. They may use euphemisms and 4 and 5 syllable words and articulate themselves very well. But they are, like Hitler was, genocidal maniacs. All right, y'all have a great day.